You guys, welcome to Sick of Pricks, a type 2 diabetes podcast. I'm Mary, your diabetes bestie. And if you've ever said, I know what I should be doing, I just can't seem to stick with it, this episode is for you. A few episodes ago, we talked about the gap between knowing and doing, and we talked about how most of us don't actually have an information problem. We have an action problem. And it's not because we don't care or that we're lazy. It's because taking action is uncomfortable and staying in learning mode feels safe. One of the things I mentioned briefly on that episode was connecting with your why. And today I want to dig a little bit deeper into that concept. People throw around the phrase find your why like it's some magical secret, as if one day you'll discover it, write it on a sticky note, put it on your bathroom mirror, and suddenly you're never going to struggle again ever. If only that were true, right? Because here's what I learned. Your why is not permanent. It's not just one thing. And sometimes it's crystal clear, but sometimes it's buried under stress, work, kids, vacations, grief, hormones, burnout, or just lifing. You're human. And before we go any further, I want to clear up something because I think we accidentally mix up two very different ideas. Your health why is not your life's purpose. Those are two very different things, two different questions. Your purpose in life might be raising your family, building a business, serving your community, being an amazing friend. You can spend years discovering your purpose. Your health why does not need to be nearly as complicated. Your health why simply answers this question. Why is taking care of myself worth the effort today? That's it. Maybe. And here's just a few examples. And none of these have to be your why, but here are some things that run through my head. Maybe it's because you want enough energy to play with your grandkids. Or maybe it's because you want your blood sugar to stop being a roller coaster. Maybe it's because you want to hike on vacation without feeling miserable, or you just want to feel confident in your own skin. None of those have to be, or really should be maybe, your life's purpose. They're simply reasons that make today's choices feel worth it. My purpose is not to have a perfect A1C or to count carbs or to close my exercise rings every day. Those things aren't the point. They're tools that help keep me showing up for the life I actually want to live. And that's the difference. Your health isn't your purpose, but taking care of your health helps you live your purpose. Let's talk about what people think a why actually is. We tend to imagine this huge emotional reason. I want to see my grandkids grow up. I want to avoid complications. I want to live a long, healthy life. And those are beautiful, beautiful reasons. But here's the challenge. Those goals are years away. They're important, but they're far off. And our brains are really good at choosing today's comfort over tomorrow's reward. Your blood sugar 20 years from now doesn't always beat fresh cookies sitting in the kitchen on the counter tonight. Yum. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means your brain is doing exactly what brains do. My own why has changed so many times over the years. When I was diagnosed at 21, some would have thought just being diagnosed would scare me straight, so to speak. And I used to think my why needed to be something like, well, I don't want to die from complications. Hey, guess what? It was not motivation for me at all. That did not keep me showing up or showing up at all. Okay. In the beginning, part of my why, my biggest motivation, was avoiding getting yelled at by the doctor. That was it. Like, not super inspiring. But later, it became, I don't want to end up like my parents, both insulin dependent and giving themselves 4 injections a day. Then it was, I want to lose weight. Then it was, I want to get off insulin. Then it was, I want to feel comfortable in my own skin. Then I want enough energy to keep up with life. Now today, my why looks different again. I love waking up before the sun comes up. I love putting on my headset and getting in a workout. I love feeling strong. I love going for walks. On my last vacation, I climbed up a mountain. I love traveling and playing with my grandbabies, recording this podcast, leading workouts for SMS, showing up for the sisterhood, feeling confident when I walk into a room. For me, it's less about avoiding something now and more about protecting a life I genuinely enjoy. And that's a very different kind of motivation. Here's something else I learned. I don't think we have just one why. I think we have a whole collection of them. Some are really deep, like living long enough to see my grandchildren get married or, that kind of thing, right? Deep. And some are what I jokingly call my vain whys, or maybe a better way to say it would be like a surface why. And I don't mean vain why in like a negative way, but sometimes I just want to feel good in a pair of jeans. Sometimes I want to look good in the pictures I take on vacation. Sometimes I want to wear the bathing suit and not spend the whole day worrying about how I look. Those seem surface level, but they're real reasons. They count. I remember a long time ago when I was still a Beachbody coach. So you're talking probably like a decade ago. And we were talking about finding your why. And one of my participants insisted her why was just wanting smaller clothes, a smaller size of pants. That's all she wanted. For her, it was not about the health part. It was not about the energy. It was she wanted to wear the clothes. And she was adamant that that's as deep as it got for her. And at that time, I tried to argue with her. Like, I really tried, to make her dig deeper and whatever. And she was like, listen, this is what it is. This is what it is for me. This is my motivation. And you know what? 10 years later, I get it. I get it. We are all motivated and stay committed for a wide variety of reasons. And who am I to tell you that your reason's not valid? Nobody. I'm not living your life. Okay? So we're all going to have different things that motivate us at different times in our lives. Okay? We don't have to pretend that those reasons don't matter just because they aren't deep and inspirational. But here's what I noticed. Those goals usually have an expiration date. The wedding happens and you wore the dress. The vacation ends, you wore the bathing suit. You buy the jeans, you take the pictures. But then what? I think that's why we need both kinds of motivation. We need the deep one, but we also need the temporary one because that's kind of what gets us started sometimes. For me, the deeper why isn't about fitting into a certain size anymore. It's about protecting the life that I've built, the energy to travel, to work out with friends, to keep teaching. I want to get on the floor with my grandbabies without thinking twice about it and not worrying about how I'm going to get up. I want to wake up feeling good in my own body. Those things don't expire after one event. They're part of the life that I am creating. And here's the cool part. Sometimes one why is louder than another. Maybe today it's the vacation. Next month, it's your A1C appointment. A year from now, it's your daughter or granddaughter asking you to chase her through the yard. Your why does not have to stay the same. It does not have to stay static. It just has to matter to you. And don't let someone else shame you out of a why that's working for you. Like I was trying to convince that participant in my group, that member, that her why was not significant enough. She should have told me to shut up, which, she kind of did, but not in that, language. But if you want to feel amazing in your bathing suit and that gets you moving every morning, great. If lowering your A1C is what gets you started, great. If keeping up with your grandkids is what gets you through today's workout, great. We spend way too much time judging our motivation instead of simply being grateful we found something that gets us moving. Something else I've noticed is that sometimes my why disappears completely. Have you ever noticed that? Everything's going great. You're doing all the things. You're meal planning, moving your body, drinking your water. You're feeling good. And then one stressful week happens, or vacation, or someone gets sick, or work gets crazy, or you're just exhausted. And then you start asking yourself things like, why am I even bothering? It feels like your motivation up and left. But that doesn't mean that your why disappeared. It just got buried. Think about your phone's GPS. When you are driving through a tunnel, which I experienced last week in New York, went through the Lincoln Tunnel several times, your GPS temporarily loses signal. The destination didn't change. The signal got interrupted. And that's what happens with your why. Life gets noisy. The connection gets weak, but your reason is still there. Sometimes it just needs to be uncovered again. So how do you reconnect? I don't think it starts with a vision board. Not that those are bad. They're wonderful. I have one myself. I think it starts with asking yourself better questions. Instead of, what should I be doing? Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be someone who has energy, someone who keeps promises to myself, someone who's present with her family, someone who can travel without worrying about keeping up, someone who feels proud after making choices that align with her goals? Those answers matter. Another question I love is, what does taking care of myself make possible? That's a very different conversation than what am I giving up? Because diabetes can make you feel like everything is about restriction. Don't eat this, watch your carbs, count that, track this. Eventually it starts feeling like life is one giant list of things you can't have. I'd rather ask myself, what does taking care of myself give me? What does it give me? It gives me more energy, better sleep, more confidence, clearer thinking, freedom. Those things, we have to protect them. Your why doesn't have to sound impressive. Maybe your why is something like, I don't want to need a nap every afternoon. I nap every afternoon, not really because I need to, but because I love it. So I will not be giving that up. Thank you very much. I want to walk through Disney without sitting down every 10 minutes. I want to feel comfortable in family pictures. I want my feet to stop hurting. I want to climb the stairs without getting winded. I want to be able to tie my shoes and breathe at the same time. Those all count, you guys. In fact, those everyday whys are often the ones that keep us going. If you've been listening to this podcast a while, you know I love habits. Because habits keep showing up after the motivation bails. But the habits still need direction, right? That's where your why comes in. Your why reminds you where you're headed. Your habits help get you there. They need each other. So here's your challenge for the week. I don't want you to ask yourself, what's my why? Ask, what matters to me right now? Not 5 years from now, not someday, today. Maybe your answer is, I want to have more energy. I want to feel confident at the beach. I want to lower my A1C. I want to keep up with my grandkids. I want to feel better in my body. Whatever it is, own it. You don't need anyone else's approval. You just need a reason that's meaningful enough to help you take the next step. Write it down, put it in your phone, stick it on your bathroom mirror. You guys, I'm not saying that reading it once is going to magically change everything. But sometimes we need little reminders of who we're becoming. Your why isn't something you discover once. It's something you reconnect with over and over and over again, and that's okay. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. If your motivation has been missing lately, don't assume it's because you're lazy or you've just admitted defeat. Don't assume it's because you don't care. Maybe you've just been carrying a lot. Maybe life has been loud. Maybe your signal got interrupted. Give yourself permission to reconnect instead of feeling like you have to start over. because the person you want to become is still there. She's been there all along, or he. She just needs you to take the next small step, not the perfect step, just the next one. All right, that's it for today's episode of Sick of Pricks. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And if you've ever thought, why did no one tell me this stuff sooner? That's exactly why I wrote my book, This Wasn't in the Pamphlet. It's real life with type 2 diabetes without the sugar coating. You can grab it on Amazon or get a signed copy from my website if you want something a little extra. And if you're ready to connect with people who actually get it, come join my Facebook community, Sugar Mama Strong. It's a safe space for support, accountability, and real conversations about health, goals, and life. You can also follow along on Facebook and Instagram for more daily motivation and updates. Everything's linked in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.